like that they just dominated game one. You know, there's not much to say that really counters that point. Alliance just kind of fell flat in game one, and whether that's due to the draft or just the fact that OG have been playing this don't stop running at you lineup, you know, it could be a combination of the two as well, because it really just was OG from start to finish. A couple of minutes into the game, they were up 2-3K, especially when they went, you know, 3 heroes mid to try and kill tops and come away losing 2. Like, it may sound biased, it may sound one-sided, but at the end of the day, OG played that game from start to finish ahead. There's nothing really there from Alliance that, you know, gives me the thought of, like, you know, they did these things right. They played well with what they're, you know, what they had, but playing well and being down 12,000 net worth, you could do that and you're still going to lose.
Yeah, the problem they had last game was that even if they cast all their spells properly and everything, it was still really difficult to be able to kill anybody. Couldn't kill the healing ward. If Jug ever spins, then what do? You know? So, it was a difficult one. And I will say, how many times this tournament have we seen very generalized bans in the first 2 against teams, right? Like, it happens all the time. Like, we see the Doom bans, the Venom bans, Undying bans. It doesn't matter which teams are playing, they always come out. What do Alliance have to ban against OG in game 1 and game 2? Invoke or Wisp. Like, and it gives OG this massive upper hand already coming into the draft, right? That they're forcing Alliance to have to ban these 2 heroes that they don't even necessarily have to play.
There's that Grimstroke again, and they're constantly going to this Grimstroke pick 1 time and time again. I know you have to ban that Invoker. Like, there's so many things here that feel so good for the side of OG that you have to ban, and, you know, you're giving up things that No Tail hasn't had this banned once yet, and he seems to just be spamming this hero through this event.
But it's pick your poison. You know, we've talked about it all event. There's 2 bans. You're gonna ban Grimstroke phase 1 against OG? If you do, it feels pretty crazy. But if you don't, they're gonna first pick it anyway. I really like this hero. I don't know why it disappeared for such a long time, because it was being picked loads and then it just disappeared completely, and now it feels like it's being picked again. It's just really odd. Like, it gives you wave clear, it gives you a silence, which is really key, it gives you a 3.7 second AoE stun at level 4, and it gives you teamfight with the Soulbind. It enables so many different heroes. I don't really understand why it disappeared so heavily. But OG definitely making good use of this hero.
Yeah, now they're going to be up against the Phoenix, which is picked up for Alliance, something that OG had in the previous game. You know, I think OG, Saksa especially, he's played a couple of heroes here that have looked so good. Phoenix and Winner being a couple of them. And now the Magnus immediately into the Morphling, and Morphling was a second phase ban from OG in the previous game. So they pick up the Morphling here, and we'll see what they're going to do with it. And Doom's open, but I just don't think he's back on that Doom.
No,
you really need to find him a better playmaker.
Give him a playmaker, give him some tempo-based hero. I mean, I like that OG go back for this Grim Mag again. Like we saw from last game, Seb Mag is very, very good. He missed that first RP, like, around that 1-5, but everything afterwards is insanely good. Like, he always found the right openings.
Yeah.
So I think it's up to Alliance now to ban heroes that work well with the Inkswell and the Empower. You know, things like Ricky you have to think about as well, PL. I mean, any melee, like even things like Ember, which we talked about, got completely untouched last game, which would have been really strong. You know, Sven is still a potential pick, I think, for OG.
I was very confused by that Weaver last pick. Like, I think we came up with some good ideas. Obviously, we're not the ones drafting. We're not, you know, we don't have communication with the teams here. We don't have some landline to connect to them. But that Weaver, it just didn't feel like it did anything. Like, what did that Weaver do in the previous game?
I think the issue didn't come from the Weaver pick. It came from the position they put themselves in before they had to last pick overall. Yeah. Because they needed so much from their last pick, and I don't think there was anything that would have solved all their problems. Like, they had damage issues. They had like the early team fighting issues as well. It didn't go well for them last game. It doesn't mean the Weaver couldn't have worked, like, ever. They have played it before Alliance, and it's been, you know, pretty good for them still. And I like that they give Hanskin this Phoenix, though, so they have a little bit of team fight to play off of already. I'd be interested to see what they pick for FNG, though, because I would assume this is going to be a Nico Baby Morphling, but it could still be Limp as well.
Yeah.
And I want to know what they want to pair with the Morphling in the laning stage if they put it as the position 1. great ban by Alliance. This Lion is something that we've not seen a huge amount of from a lot of teams. But when Alliance feel like they need a little bit of lockdown, this is like their go-to position for hero, the Lion. So when you're playing up against this morph, you obviously know you're going to want a little bit of catch, at least. And something like Wind Ranger is still in the pool if they want to go for it, but it's not as reliable as the Lion.
Yeah, for sure. I'm thinking about what FNG is going to play. I'm taking a look at his previous games, taking a look at the previous games for Alliance. They've gone to the Enchantress. Of course, they've gone to the Undying quite a bit. And, Bane is still one of those supports that I think is very popular right now. That is very good.
I think Enchantress could be an interesting one because the Purge is really good against the Empower and the Inkswell. It takes them both off. So if you purge off the Inkswell, whatever duration it's got through of the charge effectively already, that's when it explodes. So if you purge it off halfway through the duration, it'll do like a 1.5 second stun ish instead of the whole duration when it would have exploded at the end. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I didn't explain it very well.
I understood you. I got you.
Twitch chat are pretty smart people, so they'll get it.
For the most part.
Whoa. Twitch chat are always smart people. They never lie. They're always positive.
Never lie. Always positive. I mean, they were telling the truth. They always tell the truth.
I like the AM ban as well. Pretty good.
There's the Bane.
Pretty good matchup against the Morphling. Bane's the solid choice, the safe one.
Yeah.
Such a strong laning support hero.
Yeah. We've seen Bane's just be like very strong. Nightmare, the right clicks putting in like it's Brain Sap Enfeeble is what we've been seeing level 1 into level 2.
5 seconds left
remaining.
Because you have the instant lift available for the Morphling, and it's also a pretty easy Fiend script still.
Yeah.
Pairs up well with the Magnus in the laning stage at least a little bit. My only problem then would be that they don't really have a Vessel buyer necessarily in their 3-4-5, which might be a bit of an issue.
Does someone like a mid-Kunkka get Vessel anymore or no?
Yeah, it can do. I was going to say I'd like them to pick something that has the potential to hit the egg. Would be nice. Slark's okay. It still works well with the Magnus. It's fine. It's okay against Morphling as well, because if you ever pounce him, he can't waveform away. It works well with the Grimstroke as well, like good kill potential.
10 seconds.
I wonder if Slark goes for this like Diffusal build blade this game, because I know Mid has historically liked it, but he might feel like he needs some like a little bit more tankiness instead. Like we've seen halberds from Slarks this tournament so far. He might even just go like SMY potentially. The Dark Pack's obviously really good up against the Bane as well. Be difficult to get Fiend scripts off. And I think Alliance needs something else to like lane up with the Phoenix here and protect the egg. And it needs to be able to lane against the Slark relatively well too. I'm not sure if there's a hero that does both.
I think what they can go for. The Lina is still available. Would you want that? If you're Alliance?
I think
gives you lockdown, burst damage is always nice.
I think you want to give Limp last pick. They have last pick this draft, which they didn't before.
Okay. Some more lockdown. Sand King gets picked up. We've seen some good Sand King games. Could be your Blink Initiator as time goes by, of course. Or will be your Blink Initiator as time goes by, not if.
So that's a pretty solid pick, because we talked about they need something that protects the egg, but also lanes against Slark. And I didn't think there was anything that does both, but Sand King's probably your best bet. Because you have that stun to protect the egg, but also like you have the Sandstorm in the laning stage to at least kind of protect yourself. Like Caustic's a really good ability at the moment as well up against the Slark to try and pressure him in the laning stage. For you guys in chat that don't play a huge amount of Dota anymore, Caustic got changed. So that, do you remember how when Caustic, it used to explode all the time before? There used to be like a timer where after however many seconds it was, even if the creep didn't die, it would still do damage. But now you have to kill the creep for the Caustic to do damage. Because otherwise the Caustic effect just disappears without doing damage.
OG go to that Tiny that got banned in the previous game.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. I mean, it could be a 4, but I imagine it's going to be Thompson's mid hero.
10 seconds.
And I think
Which means they're still looking for a 4-4 OG, which I could still see that being Windrunner, or like you said, even the Rubik.
The
I think
Rubik
both those heroes really look good.
The Rubik looks really good now because of the Sanking with Burrow Strike Steel as well. I think I'd be really surprised if they didn't ban it out in the last phase on Alliance.
And the Ancient Apparition. Good ban, you know. You need to make sure that you get rid of that hero with the Morphling on your team. But I think they've already got their set 5 for No Tail. Like, it's been No Tail on the Scrimstroke every single time.
I understand them banning the AA though. Like, they still need something that kind of deals with the morph in a way, right? Like, they have the instant burst from the Tiny when he gets Blink potentially. Like, the AA makes it so much easier because then you have this Tiny running around the map with Blink, with Ice Blast being cast on top from the other side of the map. Everybody dies, like, to that combo of the Ice Blast Avalanche Toss. And that's a great Timber ban. We've seen Limp play that this tournament so far, and he looks really good. So because they've picked this Tiny now, they have 2 bans here to protect it in the mid lane, and Viper Timber are probably the 2 that Tiny hates playing against the most.
10 seconds.
Choices here. I think if they don't ban Rubik, OG will pick it.
5 seconds left.
They need to decide here.
Yeah, I think if you ban the Rubik, they'll go Windrunner. If you don't, they're going Rubik. I really like it. I really like the Rubik pick. Like you said, the instant lift. There's also so much to steal here that I think what we've seen from Saxa so far in the Rubik, like, he'll just throw it back in and make you pay for it. So
Rubik gets banned.
There's the ban.
I think they could pick something like Shadow Shaman potentially as well. Might be okay. Because it's kind of similar to the line, right? With the lockdown potential for the Morphling. And Saxa has played it before. I don't like it as much as the Lion this game. Still pretty good. I think Shaman and Wind Ranger would be the 2 that I would look the most for Saxa here.
5 seconds left.
Remaining.
For Alliance, though, what are you thinking over mid? Is it worth getting Alina here, or are you looking towards something else?
Hang on, I've just realized they could pick Mirana as well, which is still pretty good against hitting. For Alliance, I think Lena's probably the go-to, but they have a really squishy lineup then. There's the Wind Ranger.
Which, you know, it was either going to be that or the Rubik, and once they banned the Rubik, it felt like it was pretty much the Windrunner.
Maybe something like DK might be okay. I feel like they lack a little bit of frontline here on Alliance.
Remaining.
But it doesn't feel like a great DK game either.
5 seconds.
Alina's probably the go-to for them.
What about Death Prophet?
Banned. I don't... Okay, they do go DK.
And they do go DK.
But now my problem is, does Tiny, like... Does DK do okay against Tiny mid? It feels like they both just trade farm. And I think they're gonna have this, like, issue again on Alliance where it gets to this 15-minute mark, and they have a little bit more damage than last time. But I think Thompson's gonna get blinked this game and just start running at them. And I think you're
a little bit more sustainable this time, though. Like... I think DK is way tankier. You have some better initiation. I think if the laning phase goes as bad as it did in the first game, like, I think, yeah, it's going to be rough. But I think any lineup that loses that laning phase the way they did in the first game, it's going to be rough. I think here they have a lot more of a ways to just kind of have a better time, at least.
Their lineup's definitely better than last game on Alliance. I just worry that, like, this is what I'm saying. When Tiny gets Blink and he has Avalanche and Toss level 4, and there's a Grimstroke paired up with him with Inkswell, he's going to Blink and have Inkswell on him, Avalanche toss somebody, the Inkswell explodes, then they die. I think every single one of these heroes, including the DK, has to be so careful of that. So I'm expecting braces all round from Alliance. Some early stat items, possibly like a hood on the Sanking, potentially.
Yeah.
Their laning stage looks a bit stronger though on Alliance this time, which is good. This Sanking Phoenix should be able to pressure the Slark pretty well. Like Morphling Bane's a relatively good laner too. And mid lane looks like it should trade pretty evenly between the DK and the Tiny. So as long as Alliance don't fall too far behind, they should be okay. I think they just have to worry about this timing that OG are going to hit after the laning stages.
I definitely like Alliance's lineup better this time. Not better than OG's, but better overall. Like, it just felt like such a lackluster lineup in the previous game. So I'm hoping that they come out a little bit better. Obviously, we both want to see Game 3.
Yes.
And I really do think they're skilled enough to make it happen. I don't think that obviously last game is going to affect them mentally, but I don't know. I think there's certainly a lot better opportunity with this lineup to make something happen.
I'm going to say the same about Fly to Moon yesterday. When Fly to Moon got beaten in Game 1 by OG really hard, I said that if Fly to Moon lost Game 2 in the same kind of way, they would be so disappointed. They go out of the tournament losing 2 games in a row that badly. Like, if Alliance lose this game against OG, but they play a good game, you know, they do the best they can, then, you know, what else can you say to them? Because at least they've given it a go, at least they would have played well, at least they don't get stomped and rolled over in, like, 2 games straight away. But they'll feel really bad if it happens the same way that it did last game, and that's just their tournament done. So hopefully we get a good game, and even if they lose, that's all we can ask for.
Really hope that we get ourselves to game 3, but you take a look, Nico Baby bottom already in trouble, but they get the kill on a Saksa, so first blood already here for Alliance. And they might even get more, Seb. Trying to get run down here, FNG has Brain Sap in just a second. Oh, Breathe Fire, not going to be enough. And he just can't get the kill on a Seb.
I wonder if Seb walks back to base or if he gets salved up by No Tail on this Grimstroke. He's walking back to base. They're gonna get 4 bounty runes on Alliance.
This is the start that they needed.
Oh, wow. So they get first blood, they get 4 bounty runes. And the best bit about the first blood as well is it went to limp on this DK. So this mid laner is gonna get an amazing start.
This shouldn't be terrible against Thompson, though, on this tiny. Like, I think Limp should just be a lot more secure here in just getting his own farm than he was in Game 1. That was very tough for him.
Sure, like, but this is the thing, like, you can't really pressure the DK out of lane. Like, he's gonna get farm. Thompson should just get farm as well. And then it's all gonna be about the rotations both these heroes make. Especially if Thompson on this tiny decides to try and make an early move. Like, Limp with this DK when he hits level 6 can start to push the tower really quickly.
Yeah. Four and 2 to the 4 and 1. It was a lot more denies previously. But there with the toss, stops and does get a deny onto the range creep. Tail mid one up towards top, mid one continuing to farm pretty much uncontested. He's sitting 5 and 2, but Nico Baby, he's 6 and 0. So, you know, both carries having a good time so far. Seb's come back into the lane. He's got himself a salve. He's sitting about half health. So we saw him get pushed all the way back. Goes down to half health once again, and we'll see if Alliance can take advantage of this. FNG level 2 goes to the Enfeebles. So that's what we were talking about. You know, Brain Sap through, Enfeeble onto Seb. And he pops that salve. So now he's out of regen.
The only lane that's struggling a little bit at the moment for Alliance is this top lane. And you'll see OG have done exactly the same thing as they've done like so far this tournament, in the sense that they don't want to let this Sanking Phoenix get level 2 first before they do on their pair. So they push the lane in really hard, and then they try and pull the small camp. Unfortunately, No Tail seems to have missed the pull. So not all gone to a plan for OG here, but definitely not looking too bad for them.
Mid one is sitting at 8 and 3. And he's not having the absolute domination that I think Nico Baby's having over towards bottom, 15 and 1.
No, it's the Bane effect, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
this hero's so good at just securing lanes. This is what the Undying was supposed to do last game, but Bane seems to be doing a little bit better of a job. Hansen gets the courier.
It's courier then over mid. Limp having a much better time. I mean, this is compared to last game. It must feel like he's actually playing Dota.
Yes.
I mean, I get to actually play some Dota here this time for Limp. I'm not getting beat at level 3. actually surviving.
I mean,
17 and 6.
That's what DK's so good at, right? That no matter the matchup, or like nearly all of them, DK's at least going to get something from the lane. You tend to just trade farm in almost every single matchup. Like leaners, pucks, whatever.
This is exactly what we wanted to see from Alliance. We would rather hope to see them, you know, come back, get ourselves a 1-1, get the full 3-game series.
FNG.
So far, they're holding true to that, up 1,000 net worth, strictly farming, and, you know, of course, had that first blood, but Ink swelled, 2-man stun, mid one looks over Hanskin, he'll Icarus dive away, as Ford takes a couple of shots as he retreats by the tier 1 tower.
S4 actually has no regen as well,
stats.
and there's a big wave coming in here that he might not be able to contest.
So is Limp immediately looking to rotate once he hits that level 6?
No. Limp just wants to keep farming. Like, why would he need to rotate this game? Right? Like, his bot lane's going really well. It's up to him to, like, let Tiny make the first rotation and then just, like, hit his tower.
Yeah. So let him leave, take the tier 1 tower, close the map, and work from there, basically.
We might even see Hanskin on this Phoenix come now because of this, like, 5-minute catapult wave mid. Because if you come at the same time that Limp's about to hit level 6 here, they can really put some pressure on this Tiny.
Pounce leashes up Hanskin, who's in trouble, but again has the Icarus dive.
Dire is scanning for
He
enemies.
stays out of the hands of mid one unable to get the kill, and continuing to just farm up is the side of Alliance, and they still lead by about 1,000 net worth. Early Morbid Mask for Morphling. Sneeko Baby's net worth right now, 2,300 too. Also Limp, 2,600 net worth. Having such a good time over mid.
Here's this rotation
The
we talked
Elder
about.
Dragon form, FNG coming in, Brain Sap, now the Enfeeble's out, but the Avalanche toss on FNG just needs one more shot to get the kill to breathe fire. Ooh, survives and ends up going down on tops in FNG. 30 health.
Limp came in and stood next to the Tiny so that the tree throw hit him instead of the Bane. I'm pretty sure. And now with this catapult wave, they're going to do so much damage to this mid-tier 1.
No tail top, he goes down, Inkswell pops, hits onto S4. S4 is burrow stricken just a second, mid one in a lot of trouble. But Pounce gets away under the tier 1 tower, survives. However, over mid, we see the pressure coming through onto the tier 1 with the catapult here, and Limp still in the Elder Dragon form. Put some damage on the Topson, backs him up for a second. Now level 7. Topson is
This tower's going to die. Like, Sax is coming over, but I think he's too late. This laning stage has gone so well for Alliance.
Yeah. Topson's basically experiencing what Limp did in the first game. Not as devastatingly, but close.
This tower's about to die here.
Avalanche. The toss. Limp gets the tower. They're gonna rotate. They'll bring mid one in. Pounce leashes. They might get the kill on a DK. Body blocks from Topson.
Toss in 2 seconds.
Has toss in 2 seconds. Getting under the tower. Nobody rotating. There's the toss. Dark Pack. One more shot gets the kill. I think if anybody rotates earlier, they probably get Topson. Nico Baby, he comes in, but he's not gonna find
Yes, 1 for mana.
Topson just yet. Waveform. Can he catch him? Spirits hitting. Maybe trying to bait him with the courier there.
S4.
Oh. FNG.
Okay.
It's the Brain Sap, gets the kill.
I wondered why S4 wasn't coming over there, but FNG manages to just sneak round behind and finish the kill instead.